to another episode of the Koop'd podcast, the podcast that hates sand because it's coarse and it gets everywhere. And as always, friends, my name is Koopa, and each week I talk about all things pop culture with a bunch of my friends. And folks, this week it was a very busy week for a number of reasons. I saw Lightyear last week, and there'll be a review for that coming up next week, because this week one of my favorite shows of the year just wrapped up. That being the latest installment of Star Wars miniseries on Disney Plus, being Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I really dug. And I had to reach to a galaxy far, far away, to find a couple of Star Wars fans, to sit down and talk to me about this show. And we got some fresh blood on the mat today. Sure. Initiate Order 66, but with podcasts. There we go. And after my third reference, I'll now introduce our panel today. Well, going around the horn, welcoming a content creator from my time zone. Please welcome to the. I'll introduce you by your government internet name, Shyarie, but you'll be referred to as Shy for the remainder of this podcast. Hi, Shy. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Hello. Hello there.
Yeah. There we go. Love that. And joining us from the opposite coast, quite possibly, like when I think of people in the pantheon of Star Wars, I was like, who's the first person? One of the first people I need to make a phone call to, and is my dear friend Kaye, the only person in this call that was at Star Wars Celebration this year out in Anaheim. So, Kaye, what's up? How you doing?
Hello. That was actually my first Star Wars convention or Star Wars Celebration.
Ooh! All right. So before we get into the nitty gritty of things, talk about Star Wars Celebration. I want to hear your thoughts. Did you love it?
Oh my gosh, I loved it. Like Twitter's like super toxic. It's just like it's just gross. But then actually going to the convention and meeting all the people, everyone's just so nice and it's so wholesome, and it's just like it. After being quarantined, it's just a good breath of fresh air to actually see people and talk to people like humbly about Star Wars and not be fighting all the time. So I would highly recommend for you guys to go if it comes back to the US, because next year is going to be in London.
Oh, I'm going to London. Fuck it. I'm just going to do it.
I heard it's
cheaper too. Podcast, by the way.
Make sure you got your passports.
I actually do have my passport.
I don't.
So, fun fact, I got my passport in February of 2020. Guess how that worked out for me. So,
oh, no.
Ouch.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yikes. Next year's in London, I want to go maybe in 2 years, because that's going to be the 20th anniversary for Revenge of the Sith.
20 years?
20
Bro!
years?
What?
This year was 20 years for Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I did see
God.
that.
I'm ill. I feel so old. I remember like being on a playground in 2005, just talking about how I'm excited I was to see the new Star Wars movie that came out that Friday. And oh my God, where have the years gone? But yeah, listen, I've been saying this all week, but when I think of Star Wars fans in my mind, you two are the ones that come to mind. So thank you guys for joining me on this journey today. And I think this is a fun starting off point, because again, I talk about a lot of stuff on my show in the realms of pop culture, and I've been trying to find an avenue to talk about Star Wars in the light that it deserves. I've done I did an episode on the it was sort of a combo episode, because I think the last season of The Mandalorian and something else finished around the same time. And for whatever reason, Disney Plus loves to schedule, two of their big shows, around the same time, at least once a year. So, it's been a great double dose of Miss Marvel and Obi-Wan.
I do remember those were coming out at the same time.
Yeah, which makes zero sense, but it is what it is. I digress. But yeah, I figured this would be a great time to go around the horn. And I talked to both of you, privately about this, which is a lot of fun, about everyone's just history with Star Wars as a fandom. And Shy, I'll start with you, because your answer actually caught me very much by surprise. So what's your history with Star Wars and where your fandom originated?
So, I actually just recently watched all of the movies in 2019, late 2019. And I was obsessed. After I watched it, I just like could not stop thinking about it, and I loved it. I've obviously known about it since I was a child, but nobody in my life really watched it or cared about it very much, so I wasn't exposed to it. And yeah, yay. I'm hyper fixated on it.
Yeah. I love that. Like I love hearing this. I love hearing people's like origins with like old media in like our Lord's year, like, you know, the 21st century. Like
Mhm.
it's so much fun because I had a as my black the black mark on my nerd card is that I've never seen Lord of the Rings. And I very much plan. I know this is. Good night,
I haven't
everyone.
finished
Show's
it either,
canceled.
if it makes you feel better. I've watched a couple of the movies. Not all
Look,
of them.
man, that's 4 hours I have to block out of my day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of time.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I'm getting to it. I have a fun podcast planned with one of my friends later this year where neither of us have seen Lord of the Rings and we're going to watch it for the first time and talk about it. And sound like
Extended
fools
That's a good
editions. Extended
Yeah,
editions.
Yes,
Mhm.
I'm going to block out 6 hours of my day.
It's like 12 for all
Hey!
of them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a Saturday I'm not working. I'll call in sick. But
Forget about
Kay,
it.
yeah, exactly. So Kay, go ahead. You know, talk about your history with Star Wars because, like I said, you're one of the biggest Star Wars fans that I know, and I'm curious where your origins with the franchise started. So go off.
So it was actually my brother who's 4 years younger than me that was super like more into Star Wars than I was. My family like watched it all together, but I was like the rebellious teen and decided to watch Lord of the Rings in my room. So like I had like Star Wars in my family, but then for me it's actually super recently. I went to Disneyland. They had an overlay for Space Mountain. It's called Hyperspace Mountain, and I love that.
That's sick.
I love that ride so much that I was like, I'm actually gonna watch Star Wars. So because of Disneyland is why I'm super into Star Wars. Like
That's crazy.
if you ever can go to Disneyland in May, feel like they always do the Hyperspace Mountain overlay, and that is the reason why I'm a Star Wars fan. And yeah, just like and then
That's
Really cool.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
super
love
weird.
Not weird.
You know, yeah, no. Listen, everybody stumbles into a fandom a certain way. I don't really remember. Well, I do vaguely remember like my first memories with Star Wars. So a lot of where I get interested in just sci-fi in general is all because of my dad. My dad loves sci-fi. You know, like one of my favorite movies of all time is Back to the Future. And that's because my dad like showed it to me as a kid. You know, so I'm always gonna like when it comes to stuff like that and like, you know, not end of the world movies, like shit like that, like I'll get from my dad. And my dad was the one that introduced me to Star Wars, you know, as a kid. I remember I had to have been like 6 or 7 or whatever. Like I was watching a rerun of Star Wars on TV. My brother had like a board game from like the 90s or something that had like, you know, little action figures you played with, and I was like, oh cool, who's this guy with the black dome shaped helmet? That's real cool. And my dad's like, oh, that's Darth Vader. And I'm just like, oh, what does he do? And then, you know, lo and behold, you know, at some point I watched A New Hope in the original trilogy. And around the time of me growing up was when the prequels, you know, were coming out. So a lot of my memories of Star Wars all came from the prequels. There is a lightsaber that I wish I could have found. I bought this toy back in 2004, and it is still being played with today with kids in my family. Like my nephew is obsessed with it. It still works. Like
Nice.
it still makes noises and stuff like that. It is like it's like a family heirloom, and I refuse to get rid of it. I'm going to bury it in the desert somewhere, you know, when I have to like, you know, move away from my path as a Jedi. But
it seems like a trend.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, all of my fond memories of, you know, stem from the prequels and, then learning like, oh, they all intertwine with each other. That's cool. And then, that has since extended to like the other stuff, the non-canon stuff now, which is, all the, some of the books and the comic books and the video games. And, Star Wars, as most of the things do, is grown into a multimedia mogul. And, all of it is just great.
It's so expansive. It's so expansive.
Yeah, it's nuts. So like, take that and go ahead.
What I loved about it. Like,
yeah.
I think that's why I became so attached to it, because I'm like, this universe is just so big, and there's just so much story. To it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's great. And as rough as it was with the sequel trilogies, I wasn't like the biggest fan of where everything kind of landed at the end, but all of the Disney Plus stuff has been phenomenal. The Mandalorian has been a smash hit. The Book of Boba Fett was awesome. Mm-hmm. I'm so excited for the other stuff that's coming out, and I'm sure we're going to talk about all of it. But we've now landed on Obi-Wan Kenobi. Actually, I just realized this is, I think, the first live action project that Dave Filoni was not involved with. Although there's still a lot of Rebels thrown in with this, as you can tell just by a lot of the themings, and a lot of the shots are like shot for shot from Star Wars Rebels. So we'll talk about it. But this is originally a project that I believe was penned as a spin-off film at one point. And then after what was considered the critical failure of Solo, was reworked into a miniseries. Kaye, I'll start with you. Where were your thoughts kind of going into, they're making an Obi-Wan Kenobi series? Where we'll start non-spoilery because there are spoilers in the show. But what were your thoughts going into it, and like where are you feeling like in a tweet length review? Like where are you feeling on the outside of it? And I'm excited because you've been teasing some hot takes, and I'm ready for it. So
okay, so like going into it, I love the prequel so much. So just having more prequel
I'm
content.
not alone.
Just having more prequel content, I'm ready for. And just knowing that it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was like, okay, he's prequel. But then also giving more context to the original trilogy was also is also something I look forward to, because I didn't grow up with the original trilogy, so I also wanted more from that. So I was like, okay, maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi will give me that. And also, like, you saw those tweets where they're like, oh, here's the watch guides for Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I was like, oh, so they're going to have these? And it just got me so excited to add more context to the characters that I loved. And and then just being able to see what happens next. I don't know. I just always wanted more. But in a review, my review of it is, I loved it. I just loved it. It wasn't perfect. Of course, it seemed weirdly paced at some points, but then overall, just seeing it overall was great, and it definitely was like fan service at times, where I'm like, okay, this is fan service, but it's what made me love Star Wars. It gave me what I wanted from Star Wars.
Love that. Shai, how about you? Where are you feeling pre and post Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I had pretty high expectations because I also very much love the prequels. It's probably my favorite Star Wars media. Revenge of the Sith, best movie in the whole series, hands down. It's just so tragic and heartbreaking. It really draws you in. So yeah, I also wanted more of that. So I had pretty high expectations. And I was really excited when I saw that they cast Hayden again to wear
the suit.
And to wear the suit. And like, I was excited to see the suit with Hayden's mannerisms, like just in general, like the way that he acted. I just was really excited to see more of those two, Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin's my favorite.
Anakin's my favorite.
Yeah. I just love tragic stories, apparently. And then coming out of it, I feel like my expectations were pretty well met. Plus some, and like there were just some things that I wasn't expecting. And yeah, it was wonderful. It was a good watch. Yeah, it was a good watch. The last episode had me. Ugh.
Yeah, we'll talk about all of it in detail.
Yes, we will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
listen, I was stoked. I was stoked on this. Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of my favorite characters, just not just in Star Wars lore, but like in fictional character lore. Like he's so fucking cool, and
Mhm.
I love Ewan McGregor's portrayal of him in the prequels. Like I also really
Beautiful.
love the prequels. Like this movie really sparked in me. I'm just like, nah, maybe I did like the prequels because I always waffle on. I'm just like, these movies. It's just it's space bureaucracy. It's space trading. There's clones. I hate you. Like there's just so much infighting with myself. I'm just like, and at the end of it all, I'm just like, nah, I really like the prequels. Like, like, is there a lot of issues with them? Absolutely, but like, it's I just really appreciate that. As much as I loathe the fact that Star Wars just can't really seem to get away and tell new stories from the Skywalker family. There are still some stories that need to be fleshed out there. And what I've loved for what these shows have done for the original trilogies, and not just the stuff like The Mandalorian, but also movies like Rogue One, which which in my is one of my favorite movies in Star Wars
Great
pantheon,
movie.
and I think it's
Movie.
one of the best new Star Wars films that have come out. I think it's better than all
That-
3 of the sequel films.
Everybody loves to hate all the Star Wars movies, so
Yeah, true. Star Wars. There's a lot of infighting in Star Wars fandom.
No doubt.
Nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. So
yeah.
it's just one of those things you have to live with. But for what those movies were able to do for the original trilogy, I love that the prequels are finally getting their time to shine in the spotlight here, and seeing that Ewan McGregor not only was a producer on the show, but also signed on to play Obi-Wan again, made me so stoked. And seeing that Hayden Christensen was going to come back, I was just like, oh my fucking god, they're gonna do it. They're gonna
I
do
popped
it.
off when they cast him. I popped off. I was like, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think I tweeted like that one meme of him just like smiling while he's like
Yeah.
like flying at like a TIE fighter or something. It's just like
This is
like,
where the fun begins.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is so cool, and like so I had some pretty high expectations going into it also, and I came out very satisfied. Again, I've been it's pleasantly surprised with how well the shows have been handled, and how Star Wars has chosen not to ignore the animated side of things. And this is another step in slowly getting the Rebel storyline fleshed out in real life. We've seen characters like Bo-Katan and Ahsoka Tano show up in the live action shows, and they showed that first trailer, and I'm just like, oh fuck, it's Inquisitors. This is fucking cool.
I love
It's
the
Rebels.
concept. I love the concept of Inquisitors.
Yeah, they're so fucking cool, and I'm just like, oh my god,
So fucking cool.
this is crazy. Like hearing James Earl Jones say third sister, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like my brain's exploding. This is so cool. I was just like, everything about this is just fucking awesome. It's fan servicey as hell. Was it perfect? Not necessarily, but I loved the fleshed out story, and I loved the cameos. I loved getting to spend time with these characters again, which is what like I saw a great tweet that was saying how like all these great legends return to the screen, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home yet and all this other stuff, but
Return of the King.
yeah, I got to watch Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor fight with lightsabers and watch Tobey Maguire play Spider-Man again. I'm back in 2001
in 2022.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, and I loved it. But yeah, and this is your spoiler warning for the 6-episode series of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and truthfully, there's a lot of room there to do a second season. I need to see how Ewan McGregor becomes Alec Guinness and becomes old as hell on the deserts of Tatooine. But yeah, so let's talk about it. So okay, we'll lead off with you again. So where do you guys want to start spoiler wise? Anakin and Skywalker's Darth Vader. He's alive. Where do we want to start here?
Okay, so like I really like the twist of all the trailers were setting up that we were gonna have more time with Luke and Obi-Wan. And I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have a Luke story, I guess.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, it's all about Leia. And I love that.
Yeah.
It was a
That's what I was
pleasant
thinking too.
uh-huh. So
Mhm.
I was able to watch it a couple hours early with like everyone in that theater.
Oh,
And
that's right.
yeah, and then just hearing the crowd's reaction when Leia appears, it's just amazing. Just I hope Carrie Fisher like heard that wherever she is,
Mhm.
and just know that everyone still loves Leia, and the actress for Leia, perfect.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Hmm.
Vivian Lyra Blair, 10-year-old phenom. Yeah, the casting of I totally love that too, because I was like watching the show and I'm just like, okay, we'll see what stories they're able to paint here. And I watched the first episode and I'm just like, Star Wars got me again, man, with the old person, young person, team up team again. I'm just like, you got me with the baby Yoda, now you got me with the young Leia. Shy, I'm assuming you're feeling this the same way that we are.
I had written that down, that I was pleasantly surprised that it was more about Leia and not so much about Luke, because I think he had his time. He had his time in the original trilogy.
And
So,
then some.
and then some. You know, with the CGI and all the stuff they're doing now. Um, and I feel like like Luke barely got any screen time, but I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be
I
all right.
I kept saying to myself, because during the finale, I was just like, what if they like show us, because they hadn't really like shown like a zoomed up picture of the young actor playing Luke, and I was like, what if they zoom in and it's Mark Hamill's face like superimposed on this kid's body? Like,
I
what if
honestly
Mark
wouldn't be
Hamill?
surprised with the
What
shit
if
they've been pulling.
what if Mark Hamill has signed on to deep fake Luke Skywalker for the rest of his life? Like, he is this character. It's like, as I
But
can't.
I do think they cast him well. I
Yeah,
think he
I
looks like a
agree.
little Luke, but
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I look nothing like my 10-year-old self. So I mean, hey, good on them. But yeah, I love that we get to spend time. Like I said, we get to spend time with these characters, but we also get to see two characters that famously in the films never meet each other, and they're able to fill in that story gap where. You're always curious, like, why Princess Leia calls for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Why is she
yes.
so, like, why is she so excited when she's like, oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi's here, I gotta meet him, and
Ben
then they don't get to
Kenobi?
meet each other. Yeah, Ben Kenobi, I gotta meet him. So it's like, oh,
Hmm.
so you're curious about like I love that they're able to like plant these seeds and understands
Fill in the
like, and also
gaps.
yeah, exactly. They're able to fill in the gaps in a story that's great, where it's like, hey, this character went on an adventure when she was 10 years old with this old dude, and it made such an impact on her, she named her son after him. So it's like there's so much like great story building there, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I love it, and I just love just like the back and forth between them. Like, she keeps calling him old, and like she's so sassy and headstrong.
So
Quality,
sassy.
yeah, qualities of your mother. Like I have to workshop my Obi-Wan, but yeah, for 6 episodes, for just like I thought I'd get maybe a little tired of it, but I'm just like, nah, this is great. Like I just love the dynamic between the two of them, truthfully.
Hmm.
Um, and then the other thing I had written down here is I love the storyline. With the other major player in this series, besides the two main ones, being the story of Reva Savander, the third sister of the Inquisitors,
Great
played by
character.
Moses Ingram. She was also in. I actually completely forgot. She was in the Queen's Gambit as Beth's best friend from the orphanage. And I was like, oh yeah,
She was?
that was her. I'm just like, yeah. I thought about it. I'm just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, the trials and tribulations of Reva, were absolutely fantastic. I thought this is such a great character. We get to see this tragic story of a youngling that survived Order 66, and how said youngling fell to the dark side, and
Also, how many times is Lucasfilm gonna make us watch Order 66?
Give
How
me
many
more
more
Order
times
66.
do you think they can
No!
give it to us?
Give me
I
more
can't
Order
have any more.
66. That's
It's
I need to
so
know
sad.
I need to know
How
who
much?
went through it. I need to know how they survived.
Because that you also watch it in Jedi Fallen Order again.
Yo, Jedi
You just
Fallen.
watch it over and over and over again.
I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. The second they showed the bit, like, oh my god, why am I blanking on the city name? Is it like they showed it like that zoom in and like a bunch of younglings training. I'm just like, oh god, they're doing it again. No, please,
Yeah.
make it stop. I can't do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Coruscant.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
just
was
like,
like-
oh no.
That was like
Oh,
the
God,
first
like,
scene.
Not again.
I was screaming. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then being able to see all those
and then-
clone troopers.
hmm
Yeah.
And then the fact that they took that beginning and opening scene and tied it to the part later in the story
Mhm.
Yes.
where you find out where Reva comes from.
Mhm.
It's wow.
Yeah, and
Well
that was a great
done.
episode too. That whole episode 4 where you get like, and I kind of had a feeling that's where they were going.
Mhm.
She this Inquisitor has to have beef with Obi-Wan Kenobi for some reason other than the fact that he's just a Jedi. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's
It was your
a-
Padawan.
yeah,
When she
It's
said
so
that.
Mm.
yeah, heartbreaking. That was that in the first episode or the second episode where they're going through the, I think that's in the second episode, right? Where they're in the city. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, you didn't hear? Oh, Anakin's alive." And I'm
Anakin
like,
Skywalker is alive, and he's like, and I don't think I really thought about it until up at that moment where I'm like, oh, he doesn't know. He thought he left him to die.
Mhm.
yeah. Like it's that part just,
What?
those first 2 episodes just broke me emotionally. I'm just like, poor Obi-Wan Kenobi is working his dead end job, stealing meat for his horse thing.
His horse
Also,
thing.
by the way, I would hate to be the guy riding next to Obi-Wan on public transportation where he's got fucking like Sarlacc meat like sitting in his fucking chest. It was like, bro, like, what do you like? Put it in a bag or something. Or like, I don't know. Like, I'd hate to be sitting next to Obi-Wan Kenobi with fresh meat in his coat,
In his pocket,
driving
in
it.
his little
Yeah, his little chest pocket. But yeah, like that, like just like them painting that picture, I was just like, okay, I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for what this is gonna do to me. Like,
Mhm.
just seeing the pain and the trauma that this guy has had to go through.
He doesn't trust
uh,
anybody. He doesn't see the good in
yeah.
anyone anymore.
Yeah,
And he
it's
doesn't
tough.
reach out anymore to help. That's what
Mhm.
hurt.
The typical hero's journey, where you refuse to call to action and then you get, called into action anyway. But it was just that whole plot sequence was fantastic. And then, as we mentioned, it eventually leads to the reveal that Reva is secretly just trying to use Obi-Wan as a play to get to Darth Vader. Where she's like, "Oh yeah," he was like, "Oh yeah, you knew what his name was, so you must have been there that night." Which is, again, I was like,
Mhm.
that was kind of like a light bulb in my, a glass shattering moment in my brain. I was like, "Oh yeah, she did know that." Huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I reacted the same way. I'm like, oh,
It's like, that's how she knows.
that's right.
Yeah, it does not end well for her. Trying to kill Darth Vader. But how are we feeling on Reva and where we end with her? At the end of the series, because I definitely think there's more we can tell with this character. Like, I would love to see her show up in other properties, if possible. Because again, there's a whole lot of story, in between,
Mhm.
Where Obi-Wan ends and where we are also in the timeline. So
Yeah.
Shai, how do you feel about that?
Like where does she go after this? And of course, she just throws her lightsaber in the sand of Tatooine. Of course. I feel like we could see more from her. I think that would be great because I think she's a great character. And a wonderful introduction to the Star Wars universe. And to see more of her would be really, really awesome.
Yeah, no, I feel pretty much the same way. I'm curious where they can kind of feed that character in there. It would be cool to see like another another Force user, kind of walk that gray line where you don't really have an affiliation. Kay, what about you? Where are we standing on the feeling on the third sister after it's all done here?
I hope we see her again, and I want to see her with like a white lightsaber, because that's just the route it goes. Like it's always you're Sith or you're a Jedi and you get a white lightsabers. I want her with a white lightsaber. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe if there is a season 2, she's still on Tatooine.
That's true.
I mean, she could join Boba Fett's crew.
True. There's options
to
there
tie that in together.
Yeah,
because interesting.
Boba Fett always needs more manpower or girl power.
He's always looking for.
Yeah, that's true. There's more to be had there also. I just Reva rocks, and Star Wars community being toxic as they always are. Just they're truly the worst.
Yeah,
but
they didn't let the story just go on. They're like, how does she know who Anakin Skywalker is? And I was like, calm down, watch the rest of the show.
Yeah, stop asking questions. Save the questions for the end of the presentation, please.
Yeah, they want to be spoon-fed everything.
Dumbass.
Oh, that's a good way to describe Star Wars fans wanting to be spoon-fed.
Just wait.
Literally every bit of information.
Like,
yeah, they're the worst.
Just like let the creatives create and show us their full project before being a butthead.
Yeah, and I love that Star Wars came forward like as an account and like as a brand to defend Moses Ingram. Even though they didn't really do the same for John Boyega, but we're not gonna.
It's better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never.
Yeah.
So hopefully
shows they maybe learned.
Yeah, it does show that they learned, and hopefully that brings the sequel actors to come back, because there is hope. Especially with how people at Star Wars convention treated Anne Marie Tran. What's her name again?
Yes.
Yes.
Kelly Marie Tran.
Oh, Kelly Marie Tran. Yeah. Everyone was like, if you do anything to her during her autograph sessions, we will fight you. Like stuff like that. Everyone was behind her and wanted to make sure she was safe. And I hope she had a good time. So hopefully that brings John Boyega and Daisy Ridley back.
Amazing talent.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
So great.
And then
like,
especially with what they're doing for the Lego stuff.
Oh,
that's
boy.
sick.
I love him. He's a samurai.
Can he force Skype me later? Preferably without a shirt on.
With the high-waisted pants.
Yes,
Ben Swallow. Good old Ben Swallow.
He just like Adam Driver standing there shirtless with high-waisted pants has the energy of like that meme of like, "Mom, I threw up." Like it's just so. It's
more like mom said it's my turn on the Xbox.
It's my turn with a lightsaber.
Yeah, I hope that we get into, again, like the same love we get for the original trilogy and now the prequels. I hope that those sequel characters get their time, in the spotlight again. Just because as much as I panned the sequel trilogy for a lot of where it didn't meet my expectations, that trio of characters I just love so much. And Oscar Isaac is my dad.
Oscar Isaac.
Okay, I was gonna say like
I love him.
Yeah,
love him.
Like,
Poe.
Yeah, my man, Poe Dameron.
Isn't
and also
he?
Mark
He's
Spector.
playing. He's gonna be playing Snake, right? Or in the Metal Gear Solid series. Am I right about that?
I have no idea.
I'll Google that. Actually, Googling Oscar Isaac Snake might be a terrible idea, but I'm
it's worth it.
Yeah, you're right. Oscar Isaac to star as Solid Snake.
Wow, that's news to
it.
me. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm about it. Listen, he can have all the money he wants, man. He's got two different
talent.
types of he's got two different types of Marvel money with the X-Men and now Moon Knight and now with Disney and Star Wars as a company too. Just I put Oscar Isaac and more stuff, but that's a podcast for a different day.
Yes.
So and again, like I said, put Reva rocks. I would love to see more of this character. It was a great, parallel, like that scene where and this is where my issue kind of comes to show. And I wrote this down in the one notes that I wrote is that like I still think prequels really aren't really my thing. Like prequel stories, just because like I see a passed out baby Luke Skywalker, and I'm just like, I know nothing's gonna happen to him. So it's like it's hard for me personally to suspend my disbelief, because it's just like, yeah, nothing. He's gonna he's the savior. He's gonna bring balance to the Force and all that shit. So it's like it's hard for me to suspend my disbelief where these characters are put in any sort of peril, because it's just like you guys are gonna be fine. And that's just my own personal gripe with prequels. But still, it was very gut wrenching to see Reva see that flashback of a very like awkwardly de-aged Hayden Christensen. Some of that de-aging looked a little weird to me, personally. But just
the flashbacks
just
were pretty interesting.
But God, it was so cool.
It was so cool. I was honestly expecting a couple more flashbacks other than just Order 66 and that one scene where they're training. I was really hoping for more, but then again, there's only so much you can do with people that have aged however many years.
Yeah,
exactly.
I wanted Clone Wars armor. I just wanted to see
Apparently, Hayden had studied a lot of Clone Wars to match that Anakin, the Clone Wars Anakin.
Yeah, he watched that in Rebels. I think he also watched, but
to kind of brush up on his Anakin.
Yeah,
cocky bastard.
I hate you.
I hate you.
You underestimate my power. Like
everything about it. Cheesy acting aside, the
I love it. Just injected in my veins. It's so funny.
I love it, and how over the top the lightsaber battles are. In the prequels, and they kind of matched how, just because you haven't really seen a skilled lightsaber fighter in quite a few Star Wars medias, because none of these new Jedi are trained, and these two that we're seeing in Obi-Wan are highly trained, and that final fight broke me.
Yeah, that was tough. I think we can. We'll talk about the other characters as we get there. But again, the crux of this story is about, Darth Vader's pursuit of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And we get to that final fight where, again, that first fight wasn't really a fight. It was just kind of Obi-Wan trying to defend himself, as someone who hasn't used a lightsaber or the Force in that matter in close to a decade. And then he just gets absolutely jobbed by, a Sith Lord. Like, it was tough to watch. And, as a fan, it's like, okay, this isn't going to be the last time they see each other. And then we get to see a fully realized, Obi-Wan Kenobi, fighting against Darth Vader, doing cool shit with the Force and, and the meteorites, and just like you said, Shai, like
that
watching these, like,
yeah,
it was rough. Watching these great choreographed fights, and that's something I've been missing a lot of from the live action shows, at least, where it's just like, as much as I love, the Mandalorian, and I love those characters, and I love the world that's also set up. Lightsabers are fucking cool.
Lightsabers are so cool.
Like, watching people fight with lightsabers fucking rocks, and watching Obi-Wan Kenobi use a blaster is weird. He says blasters are what, barbaric in the prequels?
No,
or whatever?
he says
uncivilized.
So uncivilized.
They're so
uncivilized.
Yeah. So I'm just like, it was just so cool to just like watch, like, well choreographed lightsaber fights for more than just one episode in a miniseries. And it was a 10 out of 10. You hear that final line where, Obi-Wan Kenobi finally comes to terms with the fact that his friend is gone. And, you hear the line delivered of like, you didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did.
I did.
And I'm just like, ugh. right there, like that line right there, officer.
And
Yeah.
did you notice when like the light changes when he was saying those lines? Like when it was Anakin's voice, the
Yes.
lighting was blue, and then when Vader says "I killed him," it turned red.
Oh,
He's
I
like,
didn't
"You didn't
catch
kill
that.
Anakin, I did," and it turns red.
Oh my
Because
God.
whenever
catch
Anakin,
that.
you should rewatch that part. I was
I-
like, oh
yes.
my God, just
A rewatch is in my future.
so definitely like that having Obi-Wan be close that chapter of
Mhm.
yeah, my friend is gone. That hit so hard because
Mhm.
like what's he how is he just gonna sit there for like 15 years and just be like, I'm okay after
Yeah.
all that trauma.
He just blames himself constantly. Just constantly blames himself over it. He's having nightmares about it. He's seeing visions about it. Just hearing it constantly in his head, and to see him come to terms with that is a pretty satisfying way to see that end there.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a great culmination of a great story. And one of my biggest issues I've had with a lot of these miniseries is that the shows are all great for like 4 or 5 episodes, but the endings are just never that satisfying to me.
Mhm.
I had this issue with Moon Knight. I had
Moon
this
Knight.
issue with The Mandalorian, not so much, but like a lot of the Marvel stuff, the 6 episode stuff hasn't always ended the best for me. Loki, I wasn't like the ending was fine,
Loki.
but I wasn't like super satisfied with how it ended. But that's a show that's open ended for a second season. But I think in a 6 episode setting, I think Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi crushes it, and we get to spend time with these characters that we love, and we also get to introduce some new characters like we mentioned. One of my favorite being Kamal Nanjiani. As why am I blanking on the guy's name?
Haja.
Haja.
Yeah,
I cracked up when they showed him. I was like, no way they got this dude in Star Wars.
That was
Yeah,
so
like-
funny.
And now he's even richer now because now he's got Marvel and Star Wars money. Like, what a guy! Like, and so much
Isn't
fun.
he's in Silicon Valley too, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He is,
That's
yeah.
where I knew him from, and I was like, this fool is in my Star Wars show.
Yeah. He's
Great actor.
he's in everything. Like,
Yeah.
he's been in Hot Tub Time Machine. He's been in a bunch of like really dumb stuff. The Big Sick obviously is like one of the bigger things that he's known for. But he rocks, and I love just watching him as a con artist and in the streets of this like deserted planet. It was a lot of fun. O'Shea Jackson Jr. as Roken is the character's name, leader in the Path, the network that helps get escaped Jedi escape from the Empire. A lot of fun watching him. I think he's a phenomenal actor.
Super off topic, but you played Fallen Order.
Yes. So I haven't finished it though.
Oh, okay.
But
I was kind of
Yeah.
worried about wanting to like bring in some topics from it. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if anyone's finished it.
Yeah, I've gotten I can't remember what point I got to, but I was actually watching my boyfriend play it.
Mhm.
And he finished it while I think I was working or something. Like I ended up being too tired or something to be able to watch him play. So he finished it without me. But I'm replaying it now on stream.
Oh, good, nice.
So
Okay,
I plan on finishing it.
you plan on finishing it? Okay, I will.
But I
leave.
love Cal and I love BD8 so much.
Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Are you talking about whatever the game is?
Fallen Order, yeah.
And then
Yeah,
the next one's coming out next year, I think.
Mhm. That's why I want to finish this
Survivor?
one.
And there's rumors. Did you hear about the rumors?
Oh, I heard about the rumors. Yeah.
The actor, the face actor for Cal, is gonna
Mhm.
get a miniseries.
I was really hoping. I was
It's
thinking
rumors
about it.
though.
I
So
was thinking about it. I was like, what? Because he is a real actor. What if they brought him into the movie universe? I literally said that on my last live stream. I was like, if only. God, if only.
So it's a rumor, but they acknowledge his existence because when they released his lightsaber at Disneyland, they did a little like press thingy like a press photo shoot. So I'm like, okay, so you have the idea in your head.
That would be amazing.
That'd be hype. All right, we're back after our small break. So yeah, we talked about a lot of the fun cameos so far in Obi-Wan. Flea of the Red Hot Chili Peppers shows up in the first couple of episodes.
That's where he's from.
Yeah, and yeah.
Okay,
that's Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers and also the Wild Thornberries. Yeah, do you guys know that? he's Donnie from the Wild Thornberries.
Wow.
Yeah, glass shattering moment for everybody. An accomplished actor as well as being he's in a lot of shit actually. He was in Baby Driver, like he was in a bunch of shit.
That's where I recognize him from. Then
yeah,
I did not recognize him
somewhere.
You know how I watched it with everyone else. Everyone reacted like half the audience reacted to him appearing on screen, and I was like, am I supposed to know who that is? And then I was like watching the credits to look for like a name, and I was like, I think it's Flea. So I googled it in the meantime. I was like, who's this guy?
Flea. Just looking up Flea.
Yeah, that was a fun one for me. I was just like, okay, that's cool.
Did you have to type in Flea actor to see the actual actor?
I was like Flea, and I was like, I can't just press enter.
Yeah, not as dangerous as googling Oscar Isaac snake. Proven. Another fun one features the alien Freck, the transport driver on Mapuzo that drives Leia and Obi-Wan through the Empire transport. Was voiced by Zach Braff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, real weird. And that's what I love about Star Wars, man. Like, because of just like the over the top makeup and like everybody's in armor half the times, you can get the weirdest fucking people to play cameos in these films. Like Ben Schwartz was a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens. Like there's so many people that just like randomly show up in Star Wars as fucking stormtroopers, and I think that's fucking cool. And just knowing that Zach Braff has a voice credit as like a MAGA Empire supporter was quite funny. I thought that was quite interesting. And of course, the two biggest cameos being Ian McDiarmid appearing briefly as Emperor Palpatine at the end of episode 6, and the one that I think everyone was expecting, the Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn as a Force ghost.
I was so happy they had him do that.
I went, finally
popped off. Finally, I've been here this whole time.
Finally.
I absolutely loved it. Again, the prequel fan in me I knew it was going to happen. I figured it was going to happen at some point. I figured they were going to save that as like the last card of this show.
The whole time we were just waiting. He was talking to him.
Yeah, he was there the whole time. The voices just wouldn't stop, and it was just cool to see him. Play. He's voiced Qui-Gon Jinn in the animated stuff. So it's not like he's super removed from the character, but it's the first time portraying him on screen since the Phantom Menace. So were you guys as excited to see Master Qui-Gon? I'm assuming the answer is yes. So.
Yes.
And then he appears with like the most sassy line, and I was like, "Yep, that's Qui-Gon."
But I was also still trying to get over the fact that like the way that he finally Owen had him introduce himself to Luke. I not gonna lie, I was crying a little bit after that scene. I still had to recover because it was just like, I don't know. He
says it for the first time.
Yeah, he just seemed so content.
It broke me. I was like, this is so good.
All of the scenes with Leia and how he was saying that he reminded her of Padme, I was like,
yeah.
Especially in was it the first or I think it was the second episode.
Yeah, it was the second episode.
With Freck. And he's like, I see your mother when I look at you. I was like,
I was like, Also, I'm still kind of salty. Like, Padme had like mega science, like hospital stuff in it. She still dies in childbirth. Anakin's in a fucking volcano. And he
She
still comes
lost
out
her
on,
will
like,
to live.
it's like, come on. But so whatever. I'll still spend my disbelief. I've been talking to a fish for 3 movies. It's whatever. Also, a cameo I forgot to mention, and this one almost broke me. I thought we got a General Rex cameo in episode 2 with the homeless clone trooper, played by Tamora Morrison. Actually, which is fucking crazy. Like, I saw the helmet and I was like, ah! I had like a visceral reaction. I'm like, no fucking way. And then it was like, it turns out just to be like a clone trooper. I'm just like, oh my god.
Me
That
and my
was
friend
crazy.
are like the biggest clone fans. We just love clones. So the moment we saw his helmet, we were crying. We were shaking. We were crying. And
I don't even think I caught that.
he was the homeless guy that
Oh
Obi-Wan
my
gives money to.
gosh.
And the thing is that that armor like color pattern, that's if I recall correctly, it's the 501st, which is Anakin's.
Yes.
Yeah, which is Anakin's clones. So how the heck did
Wow.
he go from Coruscant all the way to the Outer Rims? And he didn't sell that armor because he's asking for money for drugs. I think he's holding on to that armor. So when Obi-Wan saw that armor, he had to have thought of Anakin, which broke me.
He did. He did make a pretty solemn face. I remember at that scene when after he gave him the money, he looked pretty broken about it.
Yeah, it was tough, man. Like, when I saw the armor, I'm just like, there's no way that they're like alluding to this right now. But again, it's just more they're just seeding it, man. Live action Rebels is right around the corner. We've seen the seeds being planted. At some point, I'm gonna see Ezra Bridger show up on my screen, and I'm gonna fucking shit on the floor. And I'm just like, nope, I can't do this anymore. Like, I want off Mr. Bones' crazy ride. But Admiral Thrawn's gonna show up at some point in the Ahsoka series probably, and I'm just like,
I'm
make it
so
stop.
excited for the Ahsoka series.
Yeah,
I am super excited for the Ahsoka series.
Yep, currently filming. I'm also very excited about that. I don't know if they've announced when we're gonna see it. I just know that it's filming right now.
It's
I want to
filming.
say it's going to come out sometime next year.
Did you see the teaser?
I did see the teaser.
I don't remember if I did. Oh,
it's great. It's great.
Just
watch it. It's awesome.
Watch it.
Yeah, and again, the other Star Wars stuff we got coming out, obviously, season 3 of Mando comes out next year. We're getting a second series this year. One of my favorite characters in Star Wars, Cassian Andor, getting his own 10-episode show, which I'm really fucking excited about. Because again, Rogue One rocks, and if you don't agree with me, you're just wrong, and it's fine. I have the high ground, you don't. I'm so excited. And yeah, I would love to see a second season of the show. I think there's maybe enough material to do that there. Because again, the one meme we've been seeing circulating online is of people being like, how does Obi-Wan Kenobi get from this to this in 10 years? Yeah, in 9 years. And I saw a great tweet. I was like, actually, I know the answer to this. It's 2 different actors playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm just like, spitting. Do you guys think we could see a season 2 of the show? Like, would you like? I'm assuming it's everyone. Like, I would love to see a second season of this. I don't know where else they could go with it, but I would love just to see more Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan.
I do think there's potential. I think there's potential for another season. I don't know if they're going to do it though. That's the thing. I don't know if they would do that because they said this one was limited unless they decided we will feed Star Wars fans today. I don't know.
Obi-Wan Kenobi will return.
I don't know if they'll give it to us.
Yeah,
I'd like to see Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan again. Yeah, it's there. He kind of exists right now because I guess this happens. This is how many years after Solo, and we know that Darth Maul exists there. Spoilers if you haven't seen Solo. I guess the movie came out however many years ago. Get over it.
But Rebels.
Yeah, I know. That's another thing. I thought they like when they kill the Grand Inquisitor in like the second episode. I'm just like, what? I was like, huh?
And they really went, here's a Star Wars glue.
Yeah. Being stabbed with a lightsaber sounds terrible. Like,
but it gets instantly like, wasn't when you have to burn a wound to close
Cauterized?
it?
Yeah.
So it'll auto, because that's how lightsabers work. I think.
Is it sterile? I don't know. Like, I don't know the answers to this.
Well, it
Bottoms-
is probably extremely hot enough to be sterile. So maybe.
If anybody in the Jedi Order wants to come on my show and break down the science of lightsabers, by all means, my email is
Has
in my
anyone
bio.
ever complained that lightsabers are hot? So
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess the wound that it leaves just kind of, it seems like it
lights up.
burns them. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I saw 2 people get stabbed by lightsabers and they lived. And I'm looking at the shots that the droids are shooting. I'm just like, I don't know. You could probably survive that. It looks like a surface wound. Like, you don't have to, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic. So we'll get our closing thoughts here, guys. Like, I think it's no secret. I really like this show. Again, I like having the lines filled in a little bit more of what happens in between episodes 3 and 4. The prequels getting their time in the nostalgia spotlight was awesome, and it was just, again, as I've been saying all episode, it's just so fun to see these characters on my screen again. I've been saying that for a lot of stuff all year. I saw Top Gun Maverick a few weeks ago, and again, just so much nostalgia is coming to the screens in many shapes and forms these days, and I loved it. So Shai, you can kick us off with your closing thoughts.
So it's not super nostalgic for me, I guess, since I am somewhat of a newer fan. But
Sure.
I still loved it regardless. It's probably my favorite live action, like, recent series that they've done so far. Even though it is kind of fan servicey, but that's the shit that I love.
Mhm.
Sorry, can I cuss? I just
Oh
realized.
yeah, you've been able to curse the whole time.
I didn't even realize I might have been doing it already.
I've been dropping F-bombs all episode. I forgot to tell you guys. You can say fuck. It's fine. If I can say fuck on my own show, what's the point?
I noticed you said it. I noticed you said it in the beginning, and I was like, "Oh, we can curse."
I should have warned you guys.
The Mandalorian is amazing. I'm excited for Ahsoka. I'm excited they're making a series about a Sith apprentice. And I'm pretty excited for that one. I don't know if they're creating that one yet, but it's planned. All of this, it's like we're in a Star Wars, like, what's the word? Renaissance, I guess is a good word for it. And I am incredibly excited to see more content, and just see more of that universe that I fell in love with a few years ago.
Oh yeah. Also, Taika Waititi's Star Wars movies come out next in the trilogies, and I'm so excited. Go ahead.
And then he says that he wants to stray away from this, from the Skywalkers, and I'm
Thank
like, okay,
you, guys.
yes,
time.
like, they tried to do that, but the directors are fighting. It was not the sequels.
I hate you, J.J. Abrams. You and your stupid lens flare. I hate you.
Yeah, just the sequels could have had the potential was there, but it was lost.
Not cohesive. It was just not. It didn't make sense.
So with this Obi-Wan series and them filling in the gaps, I do hope that these new shows also give more light to the sequels, like how the animated shows gave more light to the prequels. So I'm super excited for all those live action for that reason as well.
Yeah.
It's a good time to be a Star Wars fan.
Absolutely.
I agree. Star Wars fans are eating currently, and again, like Star Wars, I haven't been able to give a huge platform on my show yet, but it's one of my first loves, in media, and I'm just so happy that I get to, bask in the glory of what's been a really good run so far on Disney Plus. And, I'll go, I've been meaning to do a rewatch of the animated stuff, but I don't know if my heart's quite ready for it yet. But I think I'm in just the right enough mood to do that. Cause I need something to hold me over till Andor comes out. So, I'm super stoked about that. But,
have you watched Visions?
I have watched Visions, and it rocks.
And then Visions 2 is coming. Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't finish it.
You should.
I'm famous for not finishing things, I guess.
Well, there's going to be a second volume coming out. They announced it, so I
got to the Trigger episode, and I was like, okay, that's enough for me. That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Understandable.
I love Studio Trigger. Look at all my Trigger girls back here.
Yeah. You got the arsenal there. I can't wait to have Shy on my next podcast where we rank the top 5 shows we never finished. That's actually a great idea. You know what? I'm putting that one in the memory banks.
Idea.
I'm saving that one for later. I'll see you later this summer. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this journey into, like I said, a galaxy far, far away. You delivered on exactly all the right Star Wars beats that I needed.
Wait, I gotta show you my shirt.
Oh,
It says, you can't describe the entire prequel trilogy with one quote. And it says, calm down, Anakin.
That's awesome.
Loved seeing the rat tail realized in 2022 again.
I saw that and I was like, my boy!
I was like, oh, it's Coruscant! Oh, it's him! I remember that like brought back like before we close, I'll tell this one tangent. But my dad used to work in Manhattan, and around the time of him taking me to work with him when I'm in like the 5th grade is around the time of episode 3 coming out. So we would have to walk by the Toys R Us in Times Square for us to get to work. My dad would take me there after work, and all of the Star Wars toys that I had was around like Attack of the Clones and, Revenge of the Sith. So like, one of my favorite toys growing up was like a this big Anakin Skywalker toy with his rat tail, and I'm just like, that's my Anakin. That's my Anakin Skywalker. that's my guy. It's like nothing but respect for my Sith Lord. That was dope. But thank you guys again you guys are great, and I would love to have you guys back again sometime. So
thank you for the
invite.
invite.
Yes, thanks. Thanks for having us.
So go, Kay, you got anything you want to plug where the people at home can find you if they want to?
I mean, I guess follow me on Twitter where you'll see like my Disneyland and Star Wars content. It's KRoRo. I mean, I think you can link it somewhere. I don't know.
It'll everything you guys will mention will be in the bio below. And make sure to check it. Again, the content is great. The Disneyland content rocks.
Thank you.
Sure. Shy, where can the people on the internet find you?
I stream Variety at twitch.tv, Shyarie/Shyarie. And yeah, as you can see, I never finish any games. I'm just kidding.
I believe that you will finish Fallen Order. I believe.
I want to. I have finished Tomb Raider though, but yeah,
hey.
Twitch. We just hit a little over 400 followers. Woo!
Yeah.
And I try to stream every weekend because I work Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, relatable. 9 to 5
relatable.
Ooh.
We have
more like a 7:30 in the morning to 5 gang.
Oh dang!
I work a 7. I also work a 7:30 to 5.
Woohoo!
So mega relatable. I'm tired all the time.
Me too.
Yeah, I'll plug all your stuff below. Shy's a great streamer.
Thank you.
We played spooky games one time when I screamed a lot.
Yep, and we should play more spooky games.
Absolutely.
Let's play Phasmo.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's our favorite game over there at twitch.tv/Shyarie. That's our favorite game.
Absolutely. If you guys want to follow me, I'm at Koopa NJ. I'm an esports commentator who's not doing anything right now, but I got some stuff coming up soon I can announce. But follow me on Twitter. I tweet about all things fandoms and all that jazz. You can follow the show at Koop'd. Again, we have a lot of content coming out in the next few weeks. I have a Lightyear review coming out next week. Thor's coming out soon, so we're gonna have to talk about that. of course, at some point. Very excited for the continuation of that series. And like I said, I got a Lord of the Rings podcast coming up later in the summer. And, I got a lot of fun ideas that I'm going to put together this summer. So I hope you guys stick around for that. So check us out on all platforms. We're available wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Someone
if it
sponsor
exists.
this man.
Hey,
Follow his
also
Twitter.
check
It is one of the funniest things I ever read. His Twitter brightens my day every day. Just like yes, a new Koopa tweet just dropped. I'm like that. Sometimes a retweet.
Yeah, about how I threw it back to the ice cream man jingle today.
You saw that I like that?
Yeah, I'm a monster.
I didn't see that one.
I'm a monster. But yeah, check me out there. Also, we're on the Believe Podcast Network, so check us out over there if you guys want to, support the content directly. Yeah, that's going to be all for this episode, folks. So I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Take the high ground, and yeah, there's a Star Wars joke in there somewhere. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.